It used to snow. It would snow like fucking like 4 feet or whatever. Like we'd wake up early. We'd wake up and we'd, like and watch the news to see if school was canceled or not. You know, and you never know. And sometimes it would be like if it fucking snowed a lot that night. But if it was snowing all day and then the plows were able to fucking clear that shit up at night, like you're still going to school and ain't nobody shoveled. Nobody shoveled, so you're walking. You're like a first grader. You're like a first grader. And you're walking through like 4 foot of snow. That nobody shoveled through type shit.
I don't really like snow.
No, it's terrible. It's fucking. I don't get why. Like my sister just moved to Texas, like a couple of years ago, but she comes back out here for like Christmas and shit, and the only days we had snow this year was like just right around Christmas, and that like it snowed I think like 2 or 3 days before Christmas, and then it all melted by the time my birthday was, which is 5 days after. I was like, thank goodness there was no snow on my birthday.
What the hell?
No, it's terrible. Snow is fucking terrible. What does bring me joy about snow is like if I'm driving down like a country road or whatever and I see people's cars in ditches, that brings me joy because I just know they were just being reckless. Like you know the snow is slippery. You know, just drive slower. Drive slower. Make sure your brakes are good before you are driving around in this.
Yeah, what the
Don't
hell?
don't slam on your brakes either. If you are going to, don't slam on your brakes, because that's gonna fuck you up even more. Uh, and if you grew up out here, you know better. So fucking seeing cars in ditches brings me a lot of joy when I'm just fucking driving down a country road. That brings me a lot of joy.
Looking at Kitty Pryde say the N word.
What?
Kitty Pryde.
Who the hell is Kenny Pride?
Kitty Pryde. Shadowcat. X-Men.
Kitty Pride said the N word.
Nigger.
I know what the N word is. I'm just saying Kitty Pride
No, I'm
said
just
it.
saying she said hard R. I never seen this before. It was on a comic, old Claremont comic.
Kitty Pride.
She's like, then you mutie, you mutie then Pride like him. Gee, I don't know, Phil. Are you a nigger?
Oh dang!
I've
No,
never.
but
Old Claremont.
hey, hey, but somebody came at her with a slur first, so like
Ah, fuck that.
I don't
Mutants ain't real, bro.
mutants ain't.
I want to hear it. Claremont can eat a dick.
Dang, Claremont did that.
Claremont can eat a dick. Mutants are not real. Mutants are not real. Claremont can eat the biggest dick on earth.
Hey, nothing in that story is real though. So like, why does it
Nigger,
matter
he's
if
a
she
word
said that?
nigger.
Why does it matter if she said that if none of it's real?
Claremont wrote it.
Claremont wrote it. It's fictional characters though. I'm not trying to defend. I'm not trying to defend Claremont. I kind of am, but like not to the. I'm not gonna die on this hill. I'm not gonna die on this hill type shit. I'm kind of like, but like, put it in the context of this fictional world.
You know what?
Someone was gonna write that shit eventually in an X-Men comic. Somebody was. So like put it in the context of that fictional world. Like yeah, she didn't have Kitty Pryde didn't have to use the fucking N-word. She was like Like, what are you? Are you a minority? Like, she could have said it in a whole different way. She didn't have to
Uh,
fucking, but put it in like he's all like, "Oh, you're a fucking mutie," like so like she's getting hit with a slur. Put it in the context of her fictional fucking character. Put it in the what would she say in that moment? Would she drop that fucking
She could have said it's a sky blue, something stupid like that.
right. She could have said something different, but but she just got hit with a slur. And in her universe, in her existence, mutants
Man,
are real.
I'm
Mutants
not
are real
defending a
and
white woman
discriminated
saying nigger.
against. Like
I'm
that's the
not.
whole.
I'm not defending a white woman saying nigger. Fuck that.
White women say that shit
I know that.
all the goddamn time. White women say that
That shit ain't
shit
funny either.
all the goddamn time. Oh my gosh, like ones out here in the neighborhoods I grew up in, like, oh yeah. I mean they wouldn't use the hard R. They would like, because they're usually the ones that are like dating black dudes or whatever. So like they associate themselves with the culture, so they use they drop the soft A. But like I don't know, man. Like I can't necessarily defend Kitty Pride. I can and I can't defend Kitty Pride, or I can defend Kitty Pride. I can't defend Chris Claremont. if if that makes any sense, if that makes I can defend Kitty Pride. I can't defend Chris Claremont.
No, not
Does
neither
that
one.
make sense? Does that make sense?
Nope.
I don't know. How old was she in this issue?
I don't know.
If she was like if she,
Old
and
enough to know what that
and
means.
and and it's the 90s. It's the 90s, dude. Edgy edginess was an all-time high. If it was Chris Claremont writing this shit, it was the 90s. So edginess all-time high. But I don't I don't think no people weren't as racist in the 90s as they were as they are now. People were way less racist in the 90s. I don't know. I don't know. Recording stopped for free plan, but you're still on the broadcast. All right. All right. So we ready for this?
Yeah.
We're doing part 3 of History is a Lie with our good friend that we don't know, Armored Skeptic. I'm gonna put that on full screen. There we go. All right.
Oh, hello.
This is about alien skulls.
Oh, I didn't see you there. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Tinfoil Helmet, the series where I just let loose and have fun with some of my favorite conspiracy theories. I began my YouTube journey by breaking my head out of the dogma of religion, embracing science and logic, and rejecting the Bible. Certainly, a lot has happened since then. I still don't believe in the God of the Bible, but kind of come full circle on this whole thing here. I'm starting to notice that there might be something more to the universe than what science can describe. And I've also
How religious are you? Are you religious at all?
Religious?
Yeah. I don't
I
know if we've
believe in
ever talked
God.
about this.
I believe in God. I have a very strong faith in God, but I don't know if religious is the word I would use.
Right.
I believe in God. I pray every night. Um, I have a very strong faith. I believe in heaven.
You
I
do
believe
you do pray every night?
yeah,
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
I do all that. I mean, I don't know if religious is the right word, right word I would use. Like, I don't go to church or anything.
Right.
I just never felt like I had to go to church to prove my belief or faith.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think God would want you to have to do that. You know, like I don't necessarily believe in God or whatever, but if there was one and they can constantly see everything you do or whatever, like I don't think you that going to church would prove to him that you're devout in the ways of God. I think just like in just like proving yourself that like you're a good person, you know, like helping people when you can,
Yeah.
you know, always being friendly, you know, like don't start no shit, won't be no shit, you know.
No, yeah. I mean, you should go to church for like school. Cause I went to Catholic school all the way up to 8th grade. Then I went to Christian school, so I had to go to church for
No
both.
shit. I didn't know that.
Yep, I had to go to church for both. Like, like in high school, we had like required church like once a month or something like that.
No. Okay.
Like we had to go at least once a month to get credit.
Ah.
Our English teacher was standing in the entrance hall, marking down students, making sure they're there.
So like they would like I don't want to do that. So they would like they would like fucking like there there'd be like teachers like at church like with like a checklist.
Yeah,
Like
she had a clipboard
no shit, dude.
and a checklist.
That's funny.
She's one of my favorite teachers all the time, though. So she was cool.
That's
She's
funny.
one of those teachers like if somebody like that you would actually defend if somebody was fucking with her.
Yeah. I'm here. We're here. I would just put you on spotlight. Hello?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, I thought you were still telling the story.
No, I was
You
done.
know, no, you were just okay. All right. Back to the
Also come to realize that some of the stories in the Bible, and I mean the really, really crazy ones, are actually true. But first, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Raid Shadow Legends! So what is Raid? It's an epic dark fantasy done right. Culminating in your journey. You guys, 2,000 years old, have similar flood myths that our current knowledge of the progression of humanity isn't exactly accurate. I talked about how a comet hit Greenland somewhere around 12,000 years ago at the beginning of the last ice age, and this would have caused a large cataclysm culminating in a giant global flood. It wasn't just Noah who recorded a flood story. Dozens of cultures around the world have similar flood myths, even cultures that had no contact with each other. We used to believe that civilization began around 6,000 years ago with Sumeria, but we recently found a site called Göbekli Tepe, which dates back around 11,000 years. And to put into perspective how long ago that was, Jesus was 2,000 years ago. Well, Sumeria was 3 Jesuses ago. For as long ago as
So you think how so you think like the world like repeats and like cycles?
Like extra
Like so
lives, like
like
past lives.
they said this dude Sumeria or whatever was fucking like three or fuck whatever 13 Jesuses ago. So like you think there's always like some sort of like a savior person that probably pops in like every fucking like 5,000 or so years.
And then
I
it's
don't
like,
know, or great tragedies or whatever, like floods
and there
and
was like,
whatever fucking happen.
and they were like reborn in the next life or something like that.
Yes, yes.
I don't know.
We get to a certain point into
I love a do
civilization,
over. I love a do over. My life sucks up to this point. So
like
I don't
no,
know.
like we'll get to it's like a certain point into like civilization, and then some sort of like great tragedy happens, like something like the or like a great storm or a flood or a meteor or something like destroys everything up to the point where like everybody forgot like what the fuck like how like all the people who survive are all like dumb fucks that
Sorry.
like don't know how to do anything.
Sorry, I got a phone call.
All right.
No, go ahead. I'm just texting.
Okay. Like all the people who survive are all like the idiots of the world that like don't know how to do anything. Like they don't know how to fucking farm. They maybe had like some basic knowledge of like some shit to like so then we could like you could slowly rebuild. And then like their kids are the ones that actually like develop the know-how of like it's starting to rebuild and like and that takes fucking like a couple thousand years to actually fucking rebuild. I don't know. I'm freestyling. I'm brainstorming.
Basically saying it's like you get to a certain point and the earth resets. As you
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah,
Everybody's reborn again, the same fucking lives. So we've done this before like 1,000 times.
yeah,
We've had these conversations like 1,000 different times.
yeah.
Ah,
Have
shit.
we?
I mean, that'd be crazy. I mean, I doubt it, but that'd be crazy.
No, because we do repeat conversations a lot. So
I mean, if there was like this past life thing, I don't think it'd be like necessarily the same people. You know, if there was something like that. But I mean, I doubt it. I don't know. It's just kind of wild.
Sumeria was for us, Göbekli Tepe was for the Sumerians. But even the Sumerians knew they weren't the first civilization. They told us about the older civilization. We just couldn't have known it would be that old. Recently, I've heard a lot of conspiracy theorists suggest that Göbekli Tepe was actually founded by the survivors of Atlantis and that Atlantis predated that. The site appears to have rock carvings that some people have interpreted to be depicting a comet impact. I absolutely believe that the concept of civilization existed before Göbekli Tepe and was taught to us by a mysterious group, from what the ancient Egyptians refer to as Zep Tepi, or the first time. So who were these givers of civilization? Well, according to the Bible and the Book of Enoch, it was the Watchers, or the fallen angels, the sons of God, and they came down and took daughters of men as wives, human wives. Yes, it's all true, and I will prove it. They called these Watchers and their hybrid offspring the Nephilim, or the men of old, the men of renown. Another translation for that word is
what?
You're talking about the giants,
Yeah,
the offspring of the giants.
man. I
There's a
would.
lot of crazy conspiracy theories like I've seen where people are like, man, I saw a fucking Nephilim. I think it's way in the mountains. He was standing up in the mountains. I swear I saw somebody standing right there. It's like,
What are they called? Nephilim?
yeah.
And you know people who've seen them?
No, it's conspiracy theories. Come on.
Oh
Where
man.
they say, like, I swear I was driving and I saw, looked up at a mountain and I saw somebody really, really big just standing there.
Oh man. I've seen
Or if the government has, like, a Nephilim or something, that's conspiracy theory, I think.
I've seen like a fucking I swear to God this dude was like 10 foot tall. Like he was like
I mean,
he
that has
was
happened before.
huh?
That has happened before.
Th- I,
With some
s- I-
sort of
and,
condition.
This dude was like super tall, super skinny, and he was like black. He was like black, like Mr. Popo. And I was all, I was like, oh, like that dude's probably like Nigerian or something. Like he's like that dude's straight from fucking Africa or he's like an islander. Because I ain't never seen someone that black in my entire life, or that tall and skinny. And he was just like crossing. I was just like driving, and he was just like crossing the street, and I was all like, "What the? I've never seen that. I've never seen someone that black and that tall and that skinny." Like,
He was just chilling. You over here making fun of him.
I'm not. I didn't make fun. I didn't make fun of him at all. I was all like, "Holy shit! I've never seen that." But like, I'm not making. I
Giants, which is technically
if I wasn't driving and I was walking, I actually would have wanted to like chat with him, you know, like just to like I'm like, yo, what's up, man? Like, at least just to hear if he had an accent or something, you know. If he sounded just like someone from Rockford, that would even blow my mind even more. I'm like, oh,
Or if he had like a Scottish accent.
that would have been fine. That would have been fine. I don't like anything but a Midwestern fucking like Illinois accent. Anything.
translation of the word, but I assure you, they were giants. According to Enoch, in his books, it was the Watchers that taught us everything. They taught us how to work stone, make tools, make weapons, make war. But probably most importantly, they taught us astrology to help us tell the times and the seasons, which is also the basis for all of our religions. Some of the oldest Paleolithic cave paintings depict a large, white, giant race of alien-looking beings. Multiple cultures around the world have similar stories about giant albino people who came out of the ground or out of caves and taught them everything. So,
are those bunny ears or antennae?
No idea.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
They look like fucking like the Playboy bunny ears.
Is there any evidence that the Nephilim actually existed? That's right, motherfuckers, we're doing elongated skulls. Depictions of the... We've all seen depictions of the evolution of humans. I think we can all picture in our heads how we can go from this to this to this. But how the hell do you go from this to this?
That actually
you can find elongated skulls in quite a few places around the world, but the two greatest concentrations appear to be Eurasia around the Black Sea and...
Did you ever see the fucking second Planet of the Apes movie?
The Charlton Heston ones, or?
Yeah, the OGs.
Probably way back in the day.
The second one, I've told you guys about this before. The second one, it's not Charlton Heston, but another dude is on the same mission, or like another team or whatever, and there's only one survivor again. But like this dude finds this race of humans. They're all like telepathic or whatever, and they got these giant fucking heads. And like they worship this atom bomb because like they know that like this atom bomb is a power of fucking mass destruction. So like it's like their god or whatever. And all these humans, they don't speak or whatever. They're all telepathic and shit, dude. And it's it's so fucking wild. They could have been related to the fucking how do you say it? Nephilim? Yeah, they could have been related to the Nephilim.
Caspian Sea area, as well as South America near the coast of Peru. You can probably find a handful of mainstream articles talking about some of these smaller conehead skulls. A lot of them are just normal humans who have bound their head, but some of these skulls are so large, you can't help but notice the discrepancy. That doesn't look like it's just head binding. I believe that these cone-headed giants served as a ruling class, and they preferred to inbreed, much as the ruling class does today, to maintain their bloodline. But in Peru, at least, over time, the skulls started off very large. but then slowly became smaller. Likely this is because they were forced to breed with the indigenous people they were ruling over more and more over time. So what the f*** even are these things? Are they even human? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love alien culture. I'm all about that Area 51 but there's no such thing as ancient aliens. A couple million years ago.
No, dude, I'm 100% for aliens. Didn't like they visited us during ancient times, and fucking they bred with us. They bred with us or whatever. So now there's a shit ton of fucking people that exist that are technically fucking aliens, but they just don't they've existed here. Like their bloodline has existed here for fucking thousands of years. That like there's no way to fucking trace if they were aliens or not. Like,
They look like Blees.
huh?
The aliens look like Blees from DC. She's a Red Lantern.
Yeah, yeah. Like I
You know
bet,
what I'm talking about?
like there could have been like there could have been a shit ton of like Kilowoggs. There could have been a shit ton of like Kilowoggs here. There could have been no, like or it could have been people that looked like us that just had cone heads. Like
Like
fucking Dan Aykroyd and shit, you know, like
the Aykroyd, that movie, I remember that.
No, like I would subscribe to that theory if I could like alien like we the aliens just like bred with us, and like now like I bet they're like I bet a majority of the human fucking race, if this actually I bet the majority of the whole entire human race is aliens, and like the small minority of us aren't. Like
Maybe.
yeah, like
Hold on one second. Hold on one second.
all right, all right, all right. Or 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 Jake, I don't know if you're listening. There's been multiple different types of aliens who have visited here. Like there was like the lizard people. There was the fucking the big heads with the gray screen, the gray skin, the big heads with the green skin, the cone heads. Man, hold on. Dalen, I'm about to cook you a fucking fantastic meal. I'm stirring it for the audience. I didn't even look to see if there was any comment. There's no comment. I'm stirring it. I'm stirring it for the audience. Dude. Um, Dalen, we're gonna do the fucking not the sad trumpet. We're gonna do the come on. Come on. Oh, one YouTube view. All right. That's all we need. That's all we need. Dalen, I'm too. I'm stirring this pot. I'm stirring this fucking pot up. the one viewer right now, let me know if you just want me to just say it right now, because I'll just repeat it again. I'll just repeat it. No, he said no. He said go fuck yourself. Uh Dalen. You had to leave at the worst time, like right when I'm fucking starting to
All right, I'm
kick.
back.
All right. All right. So like right when you left, dude, I just came up with the fucking sickest theory. It's like the most comic book shit ever, but I can see it actually happening in real life. So a bunch of different people from different planets have fucking visited here and fucking mingled with the Earthlings or whatever. Like we had cone heads, lizard people, the gray head, big head people, the gray skinned big head people, the green big head people, and they've all been here and fucking mingled with us and and now and like all these fucking different alien people all hate each other, but they and now that's why fucking everybody hates each other is because like we're all fucking like low key is this like part of this other alien group or whatever that just makes you automatically hate other people.
They look like
It
Starfire.
it sounded better earlier when I was stirring it and cooking it.
And it look like Starfire.
Just do like yeah, like some Starfire shit. Exactly. It's just some like yeah.
Comic Starfire.
Morgan just asked, have you seen the movie They Live? I have not, but I've seen the movie Mission to Mars, and that movie was just basically about how we're all actually Martians, and then we all fucking came out here from like it was like the last fucking spaceship left. Or like
So Mars attack.
we were like the last surviving people of Mars.
So
And
Mars attack.
like we live out here now.
Well,
Like
Mars
I've
attacks.
seen, huh?
Mars attacks like 25 years ago.
That's not Mars Attacks. This is Mission to Mars. Mars Attacks is completely fucking different.
No, I said I saw Mars attacks like 25 years ago. It was like that.
Oh, all right, all right.
Evolution.
Back to the show.
Well, evolution.
So the ancestors.
What? I've never seen. I
Evolution.
actually never saw Evolution. That's the one with Tim Allen, right?
No, I don't think No, that was Galaxy Quest.
That was Galaxy. Yeah, this okay.
Evolution is I know Orlando Brown is in it.
Okay.
I want to say, is that Breckenmeyer
That's Orlando Jones.
What did I say? Brown, the Orlando Jones.
Yeah, that you were just being racist because he's the black Orlando, the 7-Up guy.
Is that Breckenmeyer or David Arquette?
It wasn't David Arquette, but it was the dude. It was the dude
Oh,
from
Sean William Scott. Sean William Scott. Never mind.
It was Sean William Scott, but wasn't
David Duchovny. David Duchovny.
Wasn't. Oh yeah. Okay, David. Yeah, David. Okay.
David Duchovny.
I was also thinking the dude from Stargate was in there.
Julianne Moore, Sean William Scott, Orlando Jones, Pat Kilbane.
I know what movie you're talking about. It has the. Yeah. I know the logo too. It has the alien. It has the smiley face with the 3 eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that shit in like years. The only part I remember is when I think Orlando Jones got bit in his butt, and they're like, you know, he was on the stretcher. They were like, "Can I get you anything?" Yes, I want an ice cream cone. They're like, "You want an ice cream cone?" Yeah, it's for my ass.
Yeah.
It was a good movie. Well, you know, for early 2000s alien comedy with Sean William Scott.
I might watch it. It might not hold up.
It probably won't, but you know.
But like, I'll get high first.
That's like a weird. That period. It fits into that period of movies around that time, like 99 and maybe 2002, where it's like they're not good movies, but you can watch them out of nostalgia.
It was just like a lot of bad.
Like
movies that were just being just like pumped out. They're
uh,
just being made.
I don't know if I call this a bad movie, but like I don't know. I randomly thought of Bubble Boy. I really like that movie. I don't know if I call it a bad movie, but it's just one of those in that era of movies that you can just sit down and watch out of pure nostalgia.
Yeah. I don't even know if I've actually seen Bubble Boy. I know it used to come on Comedy Central all the time, like if you like stay home from school or whatever. I don't know if I've actually like fully seen it. It was because that was just one of those movies. But like, but like, I also never wanted to see Joe Dirt, and but then when I watched it, I'm not saying I just watched it recently, but like when I finally did watch it, I was like, oh, this movie is actually cool as hell. And that's probably like how like Bubble Boy would feel with me type shit too. Or like there's other movies like that. Like I know a lot of people who like 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 just the thought of Dumb and Dumber like makes them cringe, but they never actually saw it. They just was all like, dude, that like just the idea of that movie make, and then you show them the movie, and they're like, oh my god, that was actually the most hilarious shit I've ever seen in my life, you know, like type shit.
Yeah,
So like that's how like Bubble Boy was. I was like, I don't want to watch that, or like the new guy, or
the
but
new guy.
also people used to tell me I looked like the new guy.
The new guy. Have I seen the new guy?
It's
I
that
might
dude.
have.
It's that dude from Road Trip.
I know. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
DJ Qualls.
I didn't even know he had a name.
I think I did see it. It's just one of those that just like way, way, way in the back of my head that I forgot about. That's another one. That was really funny. I think it's called Get Over It. Yeah, Get Over It. About this guy who got dumped by his girlfriend in the beginning of the movie. Ben Foster. Got dumped by Mila Kunis, I think.
No, I've never heard of it.
Cisco's in it. Martin Short. Kristen Dunst.
No, what's it called? Gilbert?
Get Over It.
Get over it. No, oh no, no, I don't. I know. I've never heard of it. I'll check it out.
It's based on a Midsummer Night's Dream. Loosely based.
Okay,
Shakespeare.
so like, and there was see, there was a bunch of Shakespeare movies being made too, because there was
Yeah.
10 Things I Hate About You being made around then, which is based off of Taming of the Shrew.
This one's a little bit later. I think it's 2004, but um,
Okay,
Perfect Score. No, Get Over It's 2001, I think. But there's another movie. I think it's like 2004 came out. It's called The Perfect Score. It's like early Chris Evans, early Scarlett Johansson. It's like they're in high school. They try to steal the answers to the SATs so you can get into college.
damn.
That's actually a good movie. I liked it. There's a reason why I think that Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson would have smashed at least 3 times. They've literally always been around each other.
Yeah, like they grew up
There's
together.
there's
Or
just no way they haven't. There's no possible way they haven't.
yeah,
You
because
cannot
like
you cannot both be that attractive if you never had sex. Like, there's just nowhere.
yeah, because like yeah, both of them are super like and like I've seen both of them in movies even when they were younger because I kind of like I didn't realize I grew up watching them, but I did and like I've always thought like she was super hot.
Yeah, I think the perfect score was the first one they were in. She was like 17 in that one though. So
No, like even like I saw her in movies when she was even like younger, and I didn't realize that that was like her. But I
yeah,
was all well, like I remember as a kid, I was
I
all
was
like
not like
I was like oh my god, she's like so like yeah, she's always been like just like super hot. I'm not I'm not saying kids are attractive. I was talking about fucking memories of myself as a kid.
yeah. No, I get you.
Just like uh why I always watched Clarissa Explains It All. You know, like I was like, dude, this chick is so cool. She's so fucking hot. And then she becomes fucking Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It was all like, oh my god, dude, now you're You grow up with these fucking people. Like, I can't say I'm gonna go back and watch Clarissa Explains It All and be like, oh my gosh, she's so hot. I'll be all like, I could be like with my fucking relatives, be like showing them this show. I was all like, dude, back in my day, she was like the babe amongst babes. I don't know. I'm being weird. I'm being weird right now. I'm sorry. I'm being weird.
No.
Ah, back to the show.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ancestors of we Homo sapiens started off as an ape-looking hominid, then evolved to fully upright walking, tool-using humans, to the civilization-living Homo sapiens we are today. Well, I have some bad news for you. This chart is straight up propaganda. Don't worry, I'm not saying evolution didn't happen. It just didn't happen like this. First of all, have you ever thought of the implications of having Neanderthal standing behind Homo sapien in the line? That implies that Neanderthal is less evolved than Homo sapiens. And this is also supposed to implant a subconscious seed in your mind that more ape-like features equals less evolved. But Neanderthal was not less evolved than Homo sapien. Neanderthals were our closest cousins who shared a common ancestor with us going back about 500,000 years.
I would love to be able to do the shit monkeys can do.
Climb through trees, throw shit at people.
Not throwing shit at shit, but like having like the agility, and like being able to like swing from trees and shit, dude. Like you could fall on your back, catch yourself. I mean, a lot of humans can do this, but like almost every fucking chimpanzee can do this. You fall on your back, you catch yourself on your hands, and you push yourself up, and then you can like kick someone in the face with both your feet, like whoosh. Every fucking chimpanzee can do that. Only fucking like
You can just be Monkey Man from Hey Arnold.
only trained fighters.
You can just be Monkey
Only
Man.
trained human fighters can do that.
You can just be Monkey Man from Hey Arnold.
I don't remember Monkey Man from Hey Arnold.
He's like this random superhero that they had in the universe.
Years ago, when Neanderthal existed, they were literally exactly as evolved as we were. And Neanderthal only died off around 30,000 years ago, which is actually pretty relatively recently. Neanderthals are so similar to us that if they were alive today, they could probably just blend into crowded New York City, and you probably just think that there's some Italian mook. Hey, I'm walking here. You guys get it. Basically, as our ancestors' brains grew.
Did you say that at the same time he did?
No, I said, isn't Vandal Savage in Neanderthal?
Oh yeah, Vandal Savage. Yeah, he's a Neanderthal. Yeah.
Okay.
He's immortal though.
Yeah.
He's just lived since like the beginning of time type shit. Well, a little bit after. I don't know.
Over the millennia, their jaw bones and jaw muscles had to shrink to accommodate the new skull size. The smaller their jaws got, the more space they had for brains. Gorillas have a fin on the top of their skull, and all the empty space around it where our brains would go is just a giant mass of jaw muscle. Basically, this chart is trying to place waspy Western Europeans as the peak of evolution and imply that anybody with more ape-like features like a prominent brow, a sloped-back face, an oversized jaw, giant ears, all of these features become justifications to treat people like they're less intelligent, less evolved, less valuable. For example, even today, I've seen people use this conception of beauty to poke fun of the more defined features we see in the skulls of Aboriginal people that live around the oceanic islands of Australia and New Zealand. I remember as a kid hearing that the reason that the oceanic people look this way was because their ancestors interbred with Homo erectus. But I don't buy this. Certainly they would have more unique Homo erectus DNA because they were an isolated people. They had actually been isolated in those islands for 50,000 8,000 years. But also the hooked bone on the bottom of the skull, called the mastoid process, it's very pronounced. Almost more pronounced than this waspy-ass looking skull that they put it next to. However, Homo erectus didn't have a mastoid process at all. So if they interbred with Homo erectus, that bone should be a little bit smaller. No. The large hook bone, the prominent brow, these are all features of another Homo species. Scientists that study the Aboriginals now still maintain that they have unique DNA, but it's because they've interbred with some other unknown,
Do you ever fucking like feel like how like your fucking skull is shaped? Like you move your jaw around and you just feel like
Maybe. Probably. Yeah.
like I'm doing it right now just as a demonstration. But like pop this up. You know, like, cause like, and you like know how your hinges. I probably do it more as like an artist. Hey Yamato, what's happening? I probably do it more as like an artist, because like if I want to like a draw something like more realistic, I don't know. I'm still trying to like find like a style of how I like to draw. I've been doing this shit for fucking, how old am I now? 38. 38. My birthday was on a week ago on Monday. Again, I've been doing this shit for, I want to say like 25 years. I've been fucking drawing.
25 years.
Maybe more. No, like no, 28, 20, 30, 32 years. So I've been trying and I still don't know how to do it right. Like,
Hey, I mean, everybody goes at their own pace.
ugh.
Nobody's perfect.
He said, couldn't figure out the comments on YouTube. Facebook's easier. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm using this new service. I'm using FMux now. You probably see it. I don't know what the screen looks like. I'm using FMux now, and it's different from StreamYard, but I have more features on this free version than I did on StreamYard's free version. So I'm using this now. They're really pushing on the advertisement for it. They're really pushing like it's like a Bible app. Like they want you to but nah.
Bible app.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll show you one of the ads for it later, Dalen. I see. This is how I found it. It was for Facebook ads, and people were talking shit about. Actually, I found it first because people were talking shit about StreamYard on the StreamYard ads and saying they're using FMux instead. So then I checked out this, and like now I've been using this, and I kind of like it better. Like I can do shit like this.
And it's still free.
What's next?
It's still free.
Yeah, it's still free. It's still free. I can do all this cool shit. He said, nah, I'm not the churchy type. I'm not. No, but we're going to church today. We're going to church today, Yamato. We're getting back to the show. I already forgot what we were talking about before you jumped in.
You were doing demonstrating your head.
Oh yeah. So I'm done.
Identified hominid group.
Yeah, I don't know how to draw. That's right.
I know who they were. They were these large ape-like people who had cone heads and large protruding jaws. This is one of their idols. The biggest mystery is even though that this ethnic group was completely isolated for 50,000 years, the vast majority of Australian Aboriginals speak a language that was introduced only 4,000 years ago. Well, yeah, it could be a mystery, but it's not. It's these giant cone-headed people. They taught them the language. Now, we Homo sapiens shared the earth with Neanderthals and other human species for tens of thousands of years. And I know that it's your instinct to assume that everybody back then was way dumber than they are today, but that's not true. They were all exactly as self-aware and intelligent as you are. Neanderthal, for example, had upwards of 10 or 15% more brain mass than the average human. I know that does not mean that they're smarter. And also, we interbred with many different species of humans. Almost everybody on Earth except for sub-Saharan Africans have Neanderthal DNA. And all of this interbreeding we've done over the years is what has resulted in what we now call Homo sapien. Archaeologists and anthropologists will tell you that these are normal human beings who have had their heads bound after birth so that their skull would grow into a cone shape. And though that certainly seems to be true for the vast majority of these skulls, there are a few—
Nah, dude, that shit is way too prolonged for fucking like shaping somebody's fucking skull like that.
It's
Like
John Jones.
I can see
It's John Jones.
like who?
It's John Jones.
Who the fuck is John Jones?
Martian Manhunter.
No, like even he doesn't even look like that all the time. It all depends on who's drawing him. Like usually the white Martians look more like that than any and like it all depends on who's drawing them too. Like there's no consistency.
Never is.
But like this though, like I can see like if you're like stretching out like a baby's head or whatever, yeah, there's gonna be like you like and you're just like doing this on like while their shit is still like soft and forming, like you're not gonna be able to stretch their shit out that long. Like you're gonna be able to make a little bit of protrusion, but it's like you're not like that's growing matter right there. Like that's someone whose head is like born like that. Fucking that's growing matter. Like,
few that are so large. Number 1, the largest of the elongated skulls have at least 30 or 40% larger brain capacity than a modern human. This was tested by filling some of these skulls with rice and then measuring the volume that fit inside. Binding a skull will not make the brain grow 30% larger. This has to be a genetic trait. Number 2.
See? And the rice, I didn't know they used rice. That's but that
When we're born, our skulls are segmented and soft. As we grow up, it fuses together and hardens, leaving suture lines. These larger skulls are missing their sagittal suture line completely. Head binding will not do that. That has to be a genetic trait. Number 3, the foramen magnum is the hole in the bottom of your skull that connects your brain stem to your spinal cord. Normally, it's somewhere near the center of your skull, helping to balance the weight of your head on your shoulders. However, on elongated skulls, it's almost all the way to the back. This accommodates for the extra—
I didn't know we had those like stitching lines on our skulls. So like that does like so like I didn't know like how I was actually gonna question like how our skulls grow as we become older. But like that, like I didn't know we had like this like
Well, you know your mom has to like, I mean your baby, your mom has
well
to
I didn't know I
shape
didn't
her
know
head.
that like there was like the little stitching lines or whatever that fucking don't fully fuse all the way until you're probably I want to say like 25. They're not probably going to talk about it in this, but like, what do they say when your fucking brain fully develops? Like when you're like 25, 27.
Something like that.
Yeah,
No.
that's probably when your skull stops growing or whatever, and then that shit finally fuses together. But either way, like he said, even as a fucking baby, and you were trying to fucking stretch someone's skull like that, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. You can't do it.
Extra weight for the larger skull. And it appears on some of these skulls the foramen magnum is even smaller than a normal human skull, suggesting that they had very thin skeletons, which seems to be the case in the few surviving examples of full skeletal remains. And the head of their infants is almost the exact same size as their torso. This is insane. It's so alien looking. Binding a skull will not change the size or location of a foramen magnum. That has to be a genetic trait. Number 4, many of the larger skulls have extra holes on the tip of the cone near the back. These were almost certainly holes for blood vessels. Their brain was so large that a second blood supply was needed to feed the top. You do not get this from binding a skull. This has to be genetic. Number 5, the mastoid process, that little hook on the bottom of the skull I was talking about before. This bone is actually an anchor point for several of the muscles in your neck. These hooks are noticeably larger on the elongated skulls, much thicker. And again, this is to accommodate their larger head size.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Yeah, they got extra weight on the back of their head.
Head binding does not make these bones larger. That has to be a genetic trait. Number 6, their lower jaw is enormous. This one's not really so much a rule, but I have noticed that quite a few of these skulls have jaws that would put Arnold Schwarzenegger to shame. But all that being said, the skulls are so perfectly round that on top of being genetically larger, I'm convinced that they also practiced head binding, probably by wrapping something flexible around their head like a leather strap. At first, it's possible that they were doing this to fit in better with the indigenous people that they were ruling over, but then as their heads got smaller and smaller, it became a way to differentiate themselves more and more from the native people. Number 7, they have an enormous ridge on their forehead, like a giant plate. My theory is that this is a sign of head binding. A lot of the bone that would have otherwise have grown outwards ended up growing up, like, say, a giant ape-like brow bone. Doing this would also stretch the eye sockets up and back, which is why their eye sockets are so large. And number 8, quite famously, Native Americans have dark black hair. Yet, most of the elongated skulls that still have hair have red hair. Some of them are blonde. I do not believe...
No, they're Irish. Irish aliens.
Irish.
Those are your dream girls right there, Dalen. These elongated alien Irish.
Oh my god, it's frightening.
that was your dream woman in ancient times right there.
Wait, what?
I said that was your dream woman in ancient times right there.
No.
Like if you lived fucking 5,000 years ago and she came knocking at your door.
No. No, thank you.
You would like, can I offer you a cup of dirty water?
I draw the line.
Well, this morning.
I draw the line on my love for redheads at some point.
That this is an alien, but this guy isn't entirely Homo sapien either. I'm forced to conclude that he is, at very least,
I thought that was a woman.
A human hybrid. And yes, these are the real mummified remains of a Peruvian conehead. These people gave the Australian Aboriginals their language 4,000 years ago before showing up on the shores of Peru 3,000 years ago. When I finally got around to looking at artist renditions of these people, it sent a lightning bolt through my brain. I started scouring the globe for signs of these people, and I knew that it was my destiny to uncover who they were. When I was done, I was genuinely surprised by how many ethnicities these people influenced and even interbred with over the millennia. It all started when I noticed the similarities between the Paracas people and the Easter Island heads. Like the cone-headed leaders of Peru, Easter Island also had a ruling class that was ethnically distinct from the natives. We call them the long ears, and they gauged their ears. You know, gauging when you put a giant disc in your earlobe and stretch it out? That's another way that they were differentiating themselves from natives, showing that they had different physical features. So my theory is that these statues did not depict gods, they did not depict ethereal beings, but
I don't think they originally had flat heads. They probably had fucking cone heads. Then they all, or somebody chopped them off. A warring nation, a warring alien nation chopped them off. They're like, fuck your cone heads.
instead, each one of these represented a specific person, like whoever was king or ruler or priest at the time. Perhaps the natives worshipped these people as gods. But they were real freaking people. There were different designs created over the years. The earliest ones were very blocky, and then they eventually evolved into these overly cartoonish ones. The statues have big gauged ears that start at the brow line. They have a big sloped back face, oversized.
They got like fucking like dog ears. Who are you talking about, Yamato?
Jaw, and their eyes are deep set with a large brow. Most people don't know this. Every single one of these statues is designed to have a second piece, a large red stone that's placed on the head. When complete, these guys look exactly like the cone heads in Peru. Sort of like they've got a mass of red hair wrapped around a cone head. I believe that they were making these Easter Island heads cartoonish to overemphasize just how ethnically different the rulers were from the native people. Like they were showing off how godly their features were. And that reminded me of Pharaoh Akhenaten, who Egypt.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to travel to do the research on all of this stuff. So, like, you could say he's a fake and a liar, like, but like not because he never traveled. Like,
Yeah, he's just
you,
talking. So it's fine.
you could say he's a fake and a liar just because but not just because he never traveled. You can do all this fucking research from sitting at your house, but like he has visited places near his home that he's done research on. He even shows in the videos that he's at the fucking spot that or whatever. Um, so like I don't know like if I'd consider him a fake or a liar. You if you want to do further research and debunk what he's talking about, that's totally fine. Because we're watching this as entertainment. We're like, and then we're making our own theories on top of what he's saying. I get what you're saying. I understand that, Yamato. I understand that. But like, we're watching as entertainment, and like, I don't want to defame anybody if I don't know any facts or whatever. I'm not gonna fucking say anything that I don't know. I enjoy this dude's content. I like it. I've already said I think he's Jesus. So fucking so but if you want to do your own further research and debunk shit that he's saying or whatever, like do that, and I'll watch that video. I'll watch Armored Skeptic debunked videos. I'll watch that and I'll react to them. Like
Egyptologists believe also overly cartoonified his body to differentiate himself from the people he was ruling over. However, I believe that he was emphasizing real physiological differences that he actually had. And honestly, I couldn't believe that I didn't notice this before. Just like the Easter Island heads, his statue has big ears that start at the brow line, a long sloped back face, an oversized jaw, deep set eyes, and also a funny beer belly. His statue is also depicted as wearing a giant cone hat, likely to make it appear as if he has a big cone head. In fact, most Egyptian gods and even many pharaohs were depicted as wearing long hats, and these long hats could easily be hiding cone heads. Akhenaten also often depicted his daughters and his wife Nefertiti as having long heads, and his son's skull, King Tutankhamun, is slightly elongated, but Nefertiti's skull was the largest of them all. Now, Akhenaten came way later than those big cone-headed people, but clearly he believed he was related to them. He was probably a distant relative, their bloodline preserved through the tradition of pharaohs inbreeding. The Easter Island statues also reminded me of something else that was kind of random, or at least I thought it was random. See, when they started...
See, a lot of the inbreeding back then, too, caused a lot of birth defects. That made people look alien.
Yeah.
There's a lot of inbreed. You know, we got to keep the bloodline pure, and that was before, like, Europe. That was before Europe was like trying to like take over the fucking world.
Europe, the British.
I mean, they're doing it still in the name of the United States. You know, they're still trying. They're still trying.
Digging these things up, they realized they weren't just heads, and the better preserved ones actually have arms that bend down and come together at their crotch. Their hands are clasping
Their pee-pee.
their gentleman parts. Well, this is the oldest statue in the world. It was made at Göbekli Tepe. From the front, it seems eerily similar to the original Easter Island heads. It too has its...
Moved his head. But fucking... Look at this shit. Hold on. I can't... Stop moving around. I can't click on this. But look at this motherfucker. I got one.
There's Dick.
Yeah, his hands, it's exactly, it's the same picture. Hold on. It's the same picture as that statue. It's the same guy.
He's holding his dick.
I don't even know where I got this, but I fucking... When I got... I was helping my friend Brittany fucking redo her attic. Like, put like a bedroom and shit up in there. And oh my god, there's nowhere to fucking step. I'm fucking cleaning all this shit. But I saw this in her basement, and I was like, dude, I need this because I already have a fucking a penis statue. And I was like, now I'm like collecting them. So if you see one, if you see a fucking penis statue like this, let me fucking know, dude. I'm collecting these bitches now.
Penis statue?
Yeah, like this type of shit.
Okay.
Or like the other one I showed you. Like
Yeah.
if you see anything like that, dude, like I'm collecting them now. When I get my own fucking place again, yeah, there's gonna be a whole shelf. Or I might just I'll scatter them around. I'll scatter them around the house. Like there'll be one like right in the fucking bathroom. Like as soon as you close the door, turn the light on, you see. Hold on, what are you saying? What'd you say? Yamato?
Put it right outside the door, front door.
Yeah. right by like the coat closet. Yeah. So wasn't it called Britannia? What are you saying? Back then or something? The oversized empire? No, Britannia. It might have been all of like Britannia, but like there was a lot
His
of shit,
arms
like Alexander
bending
the Great.
down, and he's holding onto his stuff. Well, technically, this isn't.
We're talking about alien skulls. Yeah, we were talking about British taking over the world. Yeah, I think Europe was called like Britannia. Or not but it wasn't everything. I think it was mainly just like the British islands that was it was all Britannia.
The oldest statue in the world, because a lot of these T-pillars at Göbekli Tepe are actually supposed to represent people as well. Maybe the exact same people. They too are made out of white stone. Several of them have arms that are curved down and their hands are clasping. And I know that these people and their religion made it to the islands of Australia because this pillar also is wearing a design on his belt, and this design can only be found in one other place around the world, in rock art created by the Aboriginal people of Australia. And it was at this point in my research that I knew I was onto something. So here's my timeline. You're gonna wanna pay attention to this. Göbekli Tepe is founded around 11,000 years ago. They create these white statues and white pillar people. Then, 2,000 years later, 9,000 years before today,
Hotep Squid is what, fucking how long we known each other? Fucking like 8 years, 10 years. Is like a
When did you join CBSM? When did you join CBSM?
I don't know. See, I don't know when or how I got invited to CBSM or whatever.
Well,
Like,
I was 2014 because I remember because that first Guardians movie came out. I joined right around that time.
I've known him since like I lived on Cherry Street.
So about 10 years now then.
When like me and you were roommates. When me and you were roommates on Cherry Street, I've known Hotep Squidward.
Am I a fuck nigga? Is that what you saying?
I don't know. He's I think he might be jealous because I have other black friends. Or he thought you were the one doing he might think you are the dude doing the video. I don't know. Because he already said, like, the last time when we were doing part 2, he was saying all this shit was like cappuccino that we were reacted to. So we're not doing a rap battle. What?
the second oldest statue shows up in Jordan, again made from white stone, clearly a cone-headed figure, and there's several different versions of these, including a two-headed design, which might have represented a co-rulership or maybe Siamese twins. Again, this confirms my theory that these are supposed to represent specific people and not the same ethereal god every time. Then 2,000 years after that, 7,000 years ago today, these really weird ones show up, made from white stone again, and this time they have a separate material for the hair. Some of them seem to have lost the hair and just have a smooth cone, and it appears like they have alien eyes, but this is actually supposed to represent a prominent brow ridge and kind of a squint, or maybe Asian eyes. And this isn't a reptile's beak, but it's a snout, like a big ape's jaw. Now this is starting to make sense. These are the same kinds of features that we see in modern gorillas. They too can develop a cone head, though it's mostly fat and muscle. And obviously gorillas have long, slanted faces with a large, prominent jaw. And this reminded me of a statue in Japan that ancient alien folks have tried to convince us are some kind of lizard people. No, again, These are ape features, caricaturized. These have to be the same people that we see in these Paleolithic cave paintings of giant white-skinned ape people. These are not aliens. These are albino ape people. These are members of a yet identified ape-like Homo species. I'm dead serious. At first I considered that these were maybe Neanderthals or Neanderthal hybrids, because my earliest research I found that Neanderthal is what introduced white skin, red hair, green eyes to the European people. But I've since changed that theory.
Hey,
I remember
you're attracted to Neanderthals.
No. It was another Reddit.
Becky Lynch. Neanderthal.
Okay.
remember hearing a theory a long time ago that the people that gave us civilization at Göbekli Tepe were the first human Neanderthal hybrids. Their strange genetic makeup allowed them unique physiology, including tall stature and oversized brains, allowing them to sort of think outside of the box from what humanity was used to. I didn't really think much of that at the time and kind of just forgot it. However, I started looking into another Homo species that was contemporary to the Cro-Magnon and the Neanderthal called Homo denisovans, or Homo denisovan. The Denisovan lived mostly in Asia. From the fragments of their bones and teeth that we found, these humans were absolutely massive. Their molars were so large that the earliest
T just said Yakub.
researchers dismissed them as bear teeth. In fact, their molars have twice the surface area of a modern human, meaning that these Denisovans could have been as much as 3 times the mass of a modern Homo sapien, like a giant. Okay, take a breath, everyone. Why don't you pause the video, go get a drink or something, because this is going to start to get heavy. One of the ways that our true history and our true nature is hidden from us is that we're kept distracted and fighting with each other based on a very narrow historical view. I'm not saying that we need to forget about our modern history. It's still very much relevant. But today, I'm challenging you to open your mind to a broader context of our history. I've said this before, but race, too, is such a narrow way to look at humanity. Race only really refers to your general skin tone, facial features, hair type, nose shape, and whether or not you fit in with other ethnic groups. But your race doesn't explain who you are or where you came from. When we see different ethnic groups migrating across the globe, we see their influence being left behind, like a trail of breadcrumbs. We see the influence that they've left on the land and on the people and on the culture. They leave behind art, religion, language, and of course, DNA. When two cultures meet, whether it's on the friendliest or on the worst of terms, they almost always interbreed. Humanity has survived for hundreds of thousands of years by continuously intermingling and clashing with each other, creating more distinct ethnic groups that would eventually take over each other and mix with each other.
That's what I was saying about the fucking aliens, all the different alien races coming out here, like right around the same time and all hating each other. But then, like, we all start intermingling, like,
change with each other.
It's there somewhere.
Until eventually we came to one genetic identity, Homo sapien. And in that same vein, racial mixing today is a good thing. It helps bolster our genetics. This is literally how evolution works. Because I'm half Irish, my genetics are a little on the recessive side. If I want to ensure that I have strong sons, I need to find a big, brown-skinned Amazon woman. I mean, it would be ideal if she was really able to kick my ass, you know what I'm saying? Even Alexander the Great, the most accomplished white...
That's why Tony, I wish Tony was here. I mean, like that's why you love fucking big, strong, like an athletic women because you're so small.
She can beat my ass. That's perfect. She can beat my ass. That's perfect. I mean, who does it?
You said, is he talking about white people in code? What? What? Maybe, but he's saying like, if he wants to make his fucking lineage stronger, he needs to breed with somebody that fucking will. Like he's Irish, so he's got too much white in him. He needs to fucking darken his shit up a little bit, dude. Like I don't know if he's talking about white people in code. I don't even know what the hell, like in the context that question is in. I don't like.
White Greek conqueror told his generals after they took over Persia to take Persian wives. I went more into depth about this in my video, Inside We're All Black. Even though we seem to be racially very different, basically our racial differences are meaningless. The gene pool of the human species is worryingly shallow. Humans are so genetically similar today that our offspring are extremely predictable. If a white man marries a black woman, then the stork will bring them a brown baby. That's science. But species mixing is not so straightforward. If a sapien man marries a Neanderthal woman, then the stork's like, I don't know what to do. Nature allows for some species mixing if the species are similar enough, but it doesn't really have proper contingencies for it. For example, this is a liger, a mix between a lion and a tiger. In the wild, the tiger is the largest cat. However, in captivity, the liger is the largest cat. The liger is not just larger, it's cartoonishly larger. Now this is a tigon. A tigon is basically, genetically, the same thing as a liger, but a tigon shows completely different traits. A tigon has stripes and a mane, and the tigon is only about as big as a lion. Really, a tigon is just a lion with tiger stripes. Kind of boring in comparison. So how does this happen exactly? First of all, it's rare enough that interspecies mixing results in a viable offspring in the first place, but it's even more rare that that offspring ends up fertile and able to have their own children. But ligers and tigons are a special case.
Dude, they were doing this shit, dude. They even made fucking like humansies. Humansies. Do you know what a humansie is?
No.
A human combined with a chimpanzee.
Okay.
They made this shit. Back when they were like doing all this shit with like ligers and tigons, and they're still doing the shit. Thomas Jefferson's a humansie. And what is it? Who's the Nazi historian politely talking about colonization? And I can't see the whatever sort of emojis you tried to put there.
A liger is the result of a male lion mating with a female tiger. A tigon is the result of a male tiger mating with a female lion. It's believed that in lions, the female passes on the genetic trait that tells the body when to stop growing. And in tigers, it's the male that passes on the genetic trait that tells the body when to stop growing. So ligers are never given that genetic signal to stop growing, and they just grow forever, whereas tigons get that genetic signal twice. So Keep that in mind, all right? The first humans to leave Africa were the Homo erectus. By this point, humans had fire, tools, and weapons. They mostly...
I think Tigons are look way cooler than a liger, and I probably could probably win in a fight, dude. Ligers are known to die after a couple of years. I think they only live to be 8 years old because they're not supposed to exist.
Yeah.
Probably the same thing with a Tigon, but they're so big. They're if it hits you, you're fucked. But they're so big and so slow. They would have no advantage in the wild at all. Everybody would be able to it'd be fucking easy pickings for every fucking predator out there to fucking eat a fucking liger. Hell yeah, and tigers and lions, they don't exist in the same areas of the world. There'd be no way they would ever naturally breed. But the Tigon looks so fucking cool though, dude. A tiger or a lion with tiger stripes and shit, and he was albino and fuck. That shit looked cool as fuck.
Yeah, liger?
No, the Tigon. A liger is it's so because the motherfucker never stops growing. It keeps growing and growing and growing, and it eventually just dies at 8 years old. The Tigon, I don't know about the Tigon lifespan, but it just looked cool. It was a fucking lion. It was an albino lion with tiger stripes. That shit looked fucking cool. Yeah, all that shit too. Joint problems. What do you say? Chimpanzee zebra. What was the other one? Salamammoth.
lived in Africa, the Middle East, and Asia, but some made it to Europe as well. Then came Homo heidelbergensis around 600 or 500,000 years ago. This is when things really start to change for humanity. Heidelberg basically took over everywhere, and we're reasonably sure that Homo sapien and Homo neanderthal both evolved from separate Homo heidelberg groups. Homo sapien evolved down in Africa, of course, while Homo neanderthal evolved up in Europe and Asia. However, at the same time, a third Homo group evolved in the Far East, the Homo denisovin. And though Denisovin also evolved from heidelbergensis, just like sapien and Neanderthal, it appears as if their DNA didn't actually drift that far from heidelbergensis. We expected that their DNA might be more like Neanderthal, but it ended up being way more like heidelbergensis, which means that it's possible that Homo denisovin looked almost identical or indistinguishable from the Homo heidelbergensis, maybe even more similar than Homo sapien looks to Homo neanderthal. We have no idea what they looked like. We've only found fragments of their bones. We don't even know what their skull was shaped like, but we do know that they were very large compared to modern humans. In fact, around 100,000 years ago, it seems as if gigantism was quite common. And 100,000 years ago, this is around the time when Earth is the most like the Lord of the Rings. You got the kingdom of man coming up from Africa. Then you've got the red-headed dwarf people in Europe. And there's even a hobbit around this time, Homo floresiensis. And just like the white elves, there's a huge army of corrupt dark elves. They're these terrible giants that are roaming the earth. I left a link in the description to an interview Professor Lee Berger from the University of Witwatersrand. It isn't really common knowledge, but a lot of the skeletons they were pulling out of the earth from around 100,000 years ago, on average, were over 7 feet tall. So we know for sure of the existence of at least 3 different Denisovin groups that migrated across Asia. They might have even been 3 different species of Denisovin. And we know for sure that their descendants ended up migrating down through the Indonesian island chain. There's an ethnic group that exists there today that has the most Denisovin DNA of any ethnic group on Earth. And guess what? They have blonde hair.
All right. T, what's wrong with a professor from Whitewater? And like, I can't answer how many homos there are because like he kept on list like after you posted that question, he kept on listing even more homos. So like, I like what's the professor from Whitewater have to do with anything? And then what's this? Apparently, it was common occurrence back then. What? Oh, he was making a joke for fucking Stone Cold Steve, for fucking T's fucking thing. All right.
Isn't that interesting? So, by using our skills of deduction, if there is a Homo sapien ethnicity existing today with Denisovan DNA, then that means at one point in history, there had to have been sapien Denisovan hybrids. What do you think those looked like? It's believed that Cro-Magnon and Neanderthal began mixing somewhere around 50,000 years ago. So it's reasonable, I think, to assume that Denisovan was also mixing with Neanderthal and sapien at the same time. We've recently found a really good example of a Neanderthal-sapien hybrid. She's apparently from around 30,000 years ago. This is also supposedly around the same time that Neanderthal went extinct. Hybrids have been around for at least 20,000 years at this point. But really, we don't even know when the last hybrids would have gone extinct. And the 30,000 year mark is also interesting because it's also this time in history that some really crazy shit starts popping up in Europe, including the—
All right, I gotta play this on double speed.
Double speed.
Huh? Or at least 1.5 speed, because like StreamYard says I got 30 minutes left of recording. Or not StreamYard, but Evmux.
I have to go soon anyway, so that's perfect.
Yeah, I gotta. How do I do that? How do I fucking... There we go. 1.5. Fucking boom.
this iconic burial site. Now, their burial uniforms are surprisingly intricate, including thousands of beads carved from mammoth tusks.
Hey,
this shows a level of sophistication that we didn't really know that humans had 30,000 years ago. And it's cool to see their ceremonies, like burying their dead with spears and other items. This jaw shape, one of the most amazing skulls I have ever seen. We know that Denisovans were at least as advanced as Homo sapiens, if not more so. For example, Wikipedia says that humanity discovered the drill somewhere around 35,000 BC. Well, this Denisovan bracelet is at least 8,000 years older than that, and it has an extremely precise drill hole. And the oldest sewing needle ever was discovered in the same Denisovan cave. Remains also show that these people were living in harmony with and even breeding with a group of Neanderthal. Though isolated, these were an extremely advanced people. Hybrid is a really wishy-washy term to use. Technically, this guy is a Neanderthal hybrid. So think about this. 30,000 years ago, we have sapien Neanderthal hybrids in Eurasia, as well as sapien Denisovan hybrids in Siberia and the Far East. Now get this, we used to believe that the first humans to cross the land bridge from Siberia into North America was around the last ice age, about 13,000 or 12,000 years ago. But there was a group of researchers that thought
from what it looks like, you can find a hybrid in any farm and fleet, according to That's what I'm saying. Everybody's a hybrid. Everybody, I was saying this earlier, everybody's a hybrid now, dude. Like, he said, but according to him, they extinct. No, I mean, yeah, like traces of originals are extinct because everybody's a hybrid now.
it had to have been much earlier. It was recently confirmed by artifacts found in a sinkhole that humans might have crossed the land bridge as far back as 25,000 years ago. I guarantee hybrids crossed that bridge. There are strange artifacts in North America from a culture that we know as the Mound Builders, and we call them the Mound Builders because they built earth mounds It's pretty simple. But we don't really know much about them, other than they were clearly ethnically distinct from the native groups that we know of today. So my theory is that the mound builders were the first humans that crossed the land bridge 25,000 years ago. However, they were being led by a group of Denisovan hybrids. There's several native tribes in North and South America that have stories of tribes of giants. Even though the Smithsonian denies it, there are several stories of people finding giant skeletons in or near these mounds or on their farm property. Even though it ends up in the newspaper and it becomes public knowledge, the Smithsonian will then come and collect the giant bones and then just pretend that it never happened. There are dozens of stories like that. There are, however, a few confirmed giant skeletons, and these people might have also have become the Olmec, which was a culture that existed where the Mayan culture was before the Mayans. And the cultures, again, don't seem to be related. They have these giant basalt or granite heads that they definitely should not have been able to work on. And though the granite heads seem pretty ethnically similar to the natives that live in North and South America today, their depictions of...
Nobody has naturally blonde hair. That's the thing. Nobody has naturally blonde hair.
They're cone-headed babies. And they also like to depict faces. Some of them look very, very Asian, way more Asian than modern natives. They created figurines, and those figurines have freaking cone heads. Unfortunately, the Peruvian cone heads didn't immortalize themselves with statues, at least none that we can find. It's hard to tell because the Paracas and Inca people were basically slaughtered by the Nazca people. They famously made that giant alien on the side of the mountain, and that was them basically trying to get the giant albinos to come back. But we do find later in the Inca period that they created these brass figures. Wouldn't you know it, they look an awful lot like the Easter Island statues. Then later in Mezcala, Mexico, we see the same style but kind of devolved. And what I find interesting about the Mezcala is we find here, again, another unique feature. There are several of them that are designed with a crooked or a cocked head. And this again confirms my theory that each of these figurines and each of these statues was supposed to represent a specific person. Clearly this was somebody who was born with a birth defect that made him walk around with his head sideways all the time. They probably would have recognized him as the crooked-headed god. They also had a sitting version, which is eerily similar to the wooden carving that we see from the Australian islands. Later, the Mayans would create their own sitting version, but most bizarre, the Diqui culture from Costa Rica. These are exactly like the OG statues from the Middle East. So I think that even though humans crossed the land bridge 12,000 years ago, the culture of the Coneheads and their religion didn't, and landed on the coast.
Exactly. Like, they're not hybrid, there's something else, but they're still not naturally blonde hair. There's something else. Or maybe, or yeah, maybe you might be right. There might be the only people who do have naturally blonde hair were just like a select group of black people in that area where they were living. I don't know, man. This is all history is a lie, and we're just having fun. T, I love you.
Of Peru 3,000 years ago. There they met the natives who by then had already been in the Americas for 9,000 years. I can do math. And this is where you get the story of the ancient aliens, giving them the knowledge to farm and to create a civilization. Okay, so we know that the Conehead culture went from the Middle East down south and across the ocean to South America. We also know that they clearly went down to Africa because the pharaohs and the Akhenaten tradition. But do you think maybe a group went through Europe too? Spoiler alert, the answer is yes. Now, this is actually the most mysterious group in human history. They were masters of the sea, rulers of the Mediterranean. They were known as the Sea People, or the Phoenicians. Every single Phoenician is depicted with a cone head. Every single one of them. Now we're talking way, way, way later, long after the Denisovans and the hybrids and the albinos and the Aryans and whatever you want to call them are gone. The ruling class of the Phoenicians seem to be descendants of the hybrids and are maintaining their traditions in the Mediterranean. In a future video, I'm going to explain who these people were, how they swept across Europe and changed the world forever. To make things a little bit more complicated, there's a separate native group in the Australian islands near New Zealand known as the Maori. The Maori showed up much later than the Aboriginals and they're ethnically distinct, more Polynesian. There's one particular tribe in New Zealand that often is born with red or black blonde hair, blue or green eyes, and they seem to have a completely different history from every other Maori group. They fled South America when the blondes and redheads were persecuted and were forced to cross the Polynesian Islands through Easter Island, which is probably where they created the Easter Island heads, and then down to New Zealand, where they ended up creating a new culture. I'm leaving a link in the description to this documentary, but to make a long story short, this woman claims that her people left Egypt, sailed to the Americas, lived there thousands of years, then sailed across the Pacific Ocean, and then eventually landed in New Zealand. And though she never uses the term Phoenician, I believe that their arriving in the Americas about 3,000 years ago coincides with the Phoenicians' time in the Americas. There are a ton of other oddities from around the world, though, things that would put Ripley's Believe It or Not to fucking shame. Like the Boskop skull. This is pieced together based on fragments that we found in southern Africa. I pray to fucking God that this was just a birth defect and that there's not like a whole species of—
That's Yakub! That's Yakub right there! There he is. That's him right there. That's Yakub. Mount Kilimanjaro.
of these things. Jesus Christ. But based on the fragment, they would have had an enormous cranium and a tiny face, just like a little alien guy. And then there's this bizarre mummy that was found in the United States, only about 3 feet tall or so. And luckily this is a Tyrion Lannister type of a conehead, just a genetic defect from inbreeding too much. And then there's this guy. This is really creepy. He's only as long as my hand, but he appears, based on his teeth and skeletal structure, to be around 6 years old. And the DNA is native South American. And she had a significant amount of European DNA as well. This is significant because it's officially believed that European DNA wasn't introduced to the Americas until Columbus landed, but apparently many of the elongated skulls have DNA that comes from haplogroups that are exclusive to Europe and the Middle East. So yeah, good luck sleeping tonight. So in conclusion, I think I pretty much proved that the first people, at least the first civilizations, were governed by a non-sapien human species completely distinct from modern man. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, I've proven it. However, as smart and as great and as capable and as strong and as large as these people were, they're not around anymore. They're a failed species. It's probably a good thing that they're gone, because for all the technology and the knowledge and the civilization that they gave us, they also subjugated us. And every single one of these cultures, every single one of these tribes, their story ends with the natives rising up and slaughtering the rulers. We killed them off, and we became our own gods. It goes to show that no matter how accomplished and perfect a people may seem to be, they may still fail to survive. They may still fail to pass their genes on to the future. The Denisovans' DNA was not long for this world. And as they said at the end of Lord of the Rings, it's now the time of man. All the others are gone. Wait, do you think Lord of the Rings was about this shit? But many of us still carry the traits of Denisovan, and some of us even clearly have their DNA markers. In fact, many of us might be direct descendants of them and not even know it. Hell, some of them might be direct descendants of them and know it. Oh my God!
Because what I've been saying the whole time, nobody's alien. We've been aliens for so long that none of us are really aliens anymore. We've been here for so fucking long.
But don't go thinking that because you have Denisovan DNA or Aryan DNA that means that you're in some way superior. You're not. You're not them. That was Hitler's mistake. His one mistake. Hitler was so obsessed with albino features that he was venerating blonde hair and blue eyes. He wasn't trying to bring back the traditions of the Coneheads. He was trying to bring back the Coneheads. Aryan doesn't even mean white. The Iranians believe they're Aryan. That's what Iran means. Aryan. The Aryans are gone. Aryan features can be seen in several ethnicities from around the world. I've seen it in India, China even. I want you to Google this. You'd be surprised to find out that there are hundreds of examples of blonde and red-headed mummies all around the world. But Hitler, he went all around the globe trying to find signs of them. One of the places he went to were the mountains of Tibet. And this actually perplexed me until I realized about a month ago.
Am I the Nazi professor?
That the Tibetan mountains were the second place on Earth that they found Denisovan DNA. What a coincidence. From the mitochondrial DNA we've examined in the Siberian Denisovan cave, we know for sure that there are several ethnic groups in the Eastern Hemisphere who still show Denisovan DNA markers. Believe it or not, that includes 3 separate native tribes in South America, not too far from where we find elongated skulls. But like I said, it seems as if the people who have the most Denisovan—
Dude, that was obviously a joke. That was obviously a joke. He said that was one of the things he did wrong. I don't want to rewind it back because I don't have much time to record left, and Dalen's got to go. I can rewind it back, or I can show you another time.
Denisovan DNA are concentrated in the Indonesian island chain, mostly these blonde-haired people. So I connected a lot of the dots on this religion and its migration, but did they show any signs of this religion in the Philippines or the Indonesian islands at all? Yeah, This is actually my favorite example. It's supposedly only about 1,200 years old, but it's clearly a cone head holding his wiener. So is that the culture coming back up? I don't think so. That thing is either older than we're told, or that religion ended up lasting like 10,000 years. Now I scoured this island chain for days. I found white ones, I found cone-headed ones with big brows. But could I find one with big, gauged ears?
Base. Does mine have gauged ears? All right. That was part 3 of History is a Lie. We learned about alien skulls, ancient civilizations. How'd this one make you feel, Dalen?
Oh, give me 1 second.
All right. Chat while he's holding on, dude. If I can type in what you got, how you feel. Well, I'll answer all your shit with the 15 minutes that I have left of recording. I'm gonna pee. So pee. Yes, all of us are aliens. All of us are aliens, bro. No, but T, you weren't here. T, you weren't here at the beginning. He says he doesn't believe in aliens. He says he doesn't believe in ancient aliens, none of that shit. So like when I kept on talking about aliens and shit, that was me interjecting my beliefs of what he was talking about. So like what he was talking about is this: there throughout the world there were like giants and there were other fucking people and they were doing other fucking practices with their skulls and making them look weird. And like you go back to the beginning of the video and you'll see like he's not saying none of this, any of this shit was alien. It's he said so I don't want to that's gonna be on my Facebook, but I don't want to post it on my YouTube live on my YouTube. But I'll post this one. Like I want to debate this guy. You want to know what's funny, dude? Is Jeremy's the one who put me on this guy, dude. Jeremy's the one who's all like, he's like, dude, we gotta make a whole reaction series to this fucking thing. It was only supposed to be a 3-part series, and this is part 3. But it kept going. It kept going and going and going and going. So like, you got to blame Jeremy for like this video actually even like the video that I'm doing actually existed. Oh man, dude, like I'm not even worried about getting canceled. I don't think like YouTube even actually like watches my videos unless like yeah, doing like a reaction like this. Armored Skeptic himself is gonna get notified because like when I do the reactions for the Notebook movies, like the FML skits that I do, when I do those reaction videos, Wyatt tells me that he gets notified that somebody is live reacting or reacting to or whatever that to his videos or whatever, and so he just instantly just hits allow on his thing or whatever, and that's probably what Armored Skeptic is doing because I'm not stealing his content. We're just using it to talk about.
I think he's got a lot of ideas. They're very out there.
Yeah,
A lot of tinfoil hat stuff, but I mean, you say you don't believe in aliens, so
exactly. Yeah, so fucking and so when T's up here saying so people are aliens, and so like and I had to reaffirm him. I was like no, he doesn't believe people are.
he's
That
just
was
talking.
me interjecting my beliefs
He's just
into
talking.
his narrative, right?
He's just talking about his research. He's not really slanting.
Yeah, that was me interjecting my beliefs into his narrative of what people are talking, like with all the elongated skulls and shit. So like,
Elongated man, Ralph Dibny.
he said, "No, you just discovered it." No, Jeremy is the one who put me on this shit. T, T, talk to Jeremy about this. But he's all like, "Dude, what's up with this Canadian dude that fucking Mo thinks is Jesus?" Like, ask him, and he'll be like, "Oh, you mean Armored Skeptic?"
Jerome.
Did I say Jerome?
No, you said Jerome. Where is he at? Why isn't that here? Where he at?
I don't. He's probably working. I don't know. Like he doesn't. He is like me, him, and T have a group chat together, and like he wants us to see some fucking dumbass movie. Oh, fucking the new Karate Kid. He wants us to see the new Karate Kid with Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is? I was like, what is this? Like, is Karate Kid like having a fucking multiverse crossover now type shit? Like,
Same universe, I guess.
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, that'd be cool. That actually would be cool. Just like the same story, just happening at a different time, different location. Again. All right. What did you say? What did you say, T? The video was just a roundabout way of saying that indigenous people are black or ancient Kemets. Yeah, I don't know, maybe like, dude. It's a whole series, and I think later on he debunks some claims that he makes in past videos. Because like this video, is fucking 5 years old. 5 years old. So like I think he has debunked some of his other claims, or not debunked, but changed his mind. Oh, I don't know, and calling them homos. What do you think the Griffin came from the same, or do you think the Griffin came from the same way as tigers? No, dude, a Griffin is a whole different. A Griffin's a whole different fucking type of beast, dude. Because like tigers and lions are both from like a cat species or cat or whatever, like, but they're different species. Just like how like Armored Skeptic was saying, like, yeah, Neanderthals were able to intermingle with whatever this type of homo or whatever was. It's because like they're all like technically homo, like, in all sense homo erectus, right? Like you're up, you're bipedal, like whatever. So like that is like I was talking about, they were able to crossbreed fucking humans with chimpanzees, because like there's enough of a genetic cross structure to where that can breed, and like it's not like that's not what you're supposed to do. So like yeah, you can do this with tigers and lions, but to make a griffin, which is like an eagle, like tiger, or like an eagle lion type motherfucker, like no, like that's a own motherfucking type of fucking thing. Like griffins are owls, okay. Griffins are owl, okay. All right, we got 6 minutes left of recording time that I'm allowed on this free service. So that is one drawback Avmux does have from StreamYard. I can just record all goddamn day. But I think this offers me more perks than to a 2 hour record time. And I think a 2 hour record time is fine. We shouldn't need, we've gone plenty, like over 2 hours a lot in our time, but we don't ever have to, like, you know what I'm saying, Dalen?
Wait, what did you say?
I was talking about how like the pros and cons versus like back when I was using StreamYard, I could record, I could just keep on
Oh
recording.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
like this, I have a 2 hour limit, and
You
I
probably
think
gotta,
a 2 hour limit is fine.
you probably gotta pay.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying I have more perks with Evmux on the free version of Evmux than I do on the free. Like yeah, on StreamYard I could fucking record for fucking 4 or 5 hours or whatever, and this one I only have a 2 hour limit, and I think a 2 hour limit is fine.
Yeah.
Like, what do we got to talk about for over fucking 2 hours? Like, unless there's like a shit ton of us, I don't know. Like, I think that's what I'm saying. I think I have more pros. I have more perks with Evmux than I did with StreamYard.
Oh, StreamYard is probably just cheaper. So
Actually,
like fuck
no,
it.
no. A lot of people were bitching about the. I guess they had a price increase. They had a price increase recently. So I guess a bunch of people were bitching, and that's why they're all like. And that's how I found out about this one. Is all like, I'm moving over to Evmux. So I just checked it out just to test it out. We should ask Carol Baskins about the Tigers. I'm just saying, this guy's talking about different breeding, so I wouldn't be surprised. Dude, the Tiger King.
I still haven't watched that.
Like, you've never watched the original Tiger King? What
Nah,
were you doing during COVID?
it's not watching Tiger King.
I was rewatching the Arrowverse.
No, actually, I didn't start that till later. I actually didn't really binge anything during COVID. I don't think.
What?
I think it was just like Flash and Once Upon a Time, right?
Oh yeah, you did. You did start rewatching Once Upon a Time. Yeah.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
Flash.
So what were your this is our first episode for the new year actually. What were your fucking New Year's resolutions?
Well, I got some medical issues, so basically, it's to turn my entire life around. So that's pretty much it.
Same here.
It's not even resolutions. It's just goals. Like I need
I
to
mean, that's
a lot.
technically what it's supposed to be anyways, is set
I know, but I
yourself
don't really
some
like the.
goals to finish by the end of the year.
I don't really like the word goal or resolutions because I just feel like that's something you quit at some point. So it's
Right.
more like life goals.
It's totally like
Shit, what did I watch?
I got
What?
some plans I'm working on with my little brother here, like Stone Cold. I got some plans here, and I'm cleaning up my act. This is probably the last episode of WeinerCast where I'll be drinking at home. I'm not going to be drinking at home anymore. If I do go drinking, it's going to just like someone invites me out or like we're celebrating something.
Wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing a bunch of cleaning and shit down here and moving a bunch of shit around. And now that I've said it on camera in front of fucking a bunch of people, that means I actually have to fucking do it. I've been telling T I've been gonna be doing this shit for like 6 months, and I'm not like, but now I've said it to out loud to more people.
You got 1 minute to tell them.
I got one more. That's what I'm saying. Like that's like, it's actually truth now. It's actually truth. Like I can't go back. I can't go back. I can't be a bitch about it. I said I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be working out and shit more too. So, T, next time you want to go to the gym, I'm coming with you. We're doing it. You're gonna say I'm gonna try to live through another pandemic. For real though, meet new people. Fucking, all right, yep, all right, yes, don't, T, dude, I'm serious. Dead serious. We're rocking out. All right, and it was his last 10 seconds. Bye.
Goodbye.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. See you next time.
What the fuck did I watch during COVID?